Welcome to another episode of Monday Funday Podcast. I'm your host, Ahmed Al-kadri, and if you could speak Arabic, Ahmed Al-kadri. Before I begin this awesome episode, I just got back from Europe. I'm happy to be back in the routine of things. As you could tell, I got my little I Love ABBA shirt that I'll talk about from the Stockholm Museum. It was dope. But before I begin, thank you all so much for subscribing to the Patreon. Those of you know, we have Andy Haig, we have Amy, we have Sam, Marwa, Andrew, and Aziza. Thank y'all so much for becoming Patreon members. Now that we have enough Patreon members, I'm going to start doing live streams on the Patreon only. We're going to do long live streams, get to know each other some more, as well as more exclusive content. I was trying to post some exclusive content from Europe. It wouldn't upload correctly because the Wi-Fi sucked over there. But I will be doing more exclusive content on the road. Subscribe to the Patreon. Check it out. And now, without further ado, guys, we have a great guest today. I met him. I met you about like a little bit a year and a half ago. No, more than a year and a half ago.
It's longer than that.
Longer than that. We hit it off after a show, and we've been friends ever since. Everyone, please put your hands together for Jason Collings. Ooh, ooh. Collings. I said Collins. That's horrible.
You know who Jason Collins is?
Jason Collins? Who's he?
Jason Collins is the first NBA player to come out of the closet. And let me tell you, when that happened, I got so much undeserved praise and for my bravery. For people that didn't know sports, on Facebook, they just read the lines and didn't look at pictures. And it said Jason Collins comes out, and I'm like a hero in the gay community. You're an ally. I'm an ally, bro.
Yeah. And that's hilarious.
I ended up meeting him a couple years after that because his best friend and one of my best friends were on the same television show, and we ended up on set at the same time and took pictures together and stuff, which was really cool because I knew who he was, obviously NBA, but was awesome. He knew who I was.
Because everyone thought...
he goes, "You're the comedian." And I was like, I am.
And everyone thought...
made it.
That's hilarious. And he goes, "You're gayer than me."
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, does he still play basketball?
No. He is like an analyst and stuff like that. He's behind the scenes.
Why was he not?
I think he just aged out.
Oh, really? When did he come out? Oh, it was like 2014. Oh, yeah. So now he's just doing his own
thing. It was
thing.
A while ago, but yeah.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
My name has the G in it.
And then the other is
because I'm gangster, yeah.
That makes sense because you're an OG. Well, dude. Okay, we got to start before we get in. We get all sidetracked. We got to do what we always do on the podcast. Jason, what is the best piece of advice you were ever given? Can be about anything. Who told it to you, and where were you in your life when you were given that piece of advice?
I was with my dad. My father gave me the piece of advice. It was right when I was starting stand-up because I was nervous and scared. Mm-hmm. And he says to me, "They can't kill you and they can't eat you."
Oh, that's a good one.
And I went, "Wow, yeah. What am I afraid of?"
Yeah.
And then I started doing stand-up because of that.
Right.
And then, he was able to, he passed away shortly after I started, but he was able to see me do it a couple times.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I know that I'm happy that your dad got to see you on stage. My dad's seen clips or a videotaping, but he's never saw me.
Well, yeah, he did see, it was a videotape because he couldn't leave the house at the time. Yeah. So I recorded like my first 3 or 4 sets and I started. And so I brought him one that I thought was pretty decent. And I'm a brand new comic.
Yeah.
Like I am literally, that was my 4th time doing stand-up. Mm-hmm. And he watched it and he was like, "Man, you look seasoned." My dad was an entertainer. He was in an entertainment industry. He says, "This doesn't look like a guy who's only done it like 2 or 3 times."
Wow.
And he said, "This is what you're supposed to be doing. Don't stop doing this." And
that's amazing. Yes. You are a very naturally funny guy, and I see it on stage. It's my favorite. Like, you're very relatable because there's so many times I'm just living my life, and then one of your jokes just pops up in my head. And
I love that. That is the goal.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one of those writers that like goes and sits at Starbucks with a pad and paper going, I wonder what's funny.
Yeah.
I just observe stuff and talk about it. Mm-hmm. And then also what I love is how old are you?
I'm 31.
See, you're my kid's age. And the fact that I'm getting that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my biggest things that I'm proud of is when I get off stage, I got people my age because I'm 53.
Yeah.
going, dude, I totally relate. And I got people my kids' age going, oh my God, you're like my dad. I could totally get it.
No, you definitely give off a cool dad energy for sure in the best way possible. And actually, when I was flying back to Europe, flying back to America from London, I used Norse Atlantic, which, by the way, very shitty airline. Have you tried?
Is it the Spirit of the East?
No, the Spirit of Europe, the Spirit Airlines of Europe or UK in general is Ryanair.
Ryan,
bro,
it's just named after some dude.
Dude, it really is. Ryanair. It is the shittiest airline I've ever. It's worse than Spirit Airlines.
Really?
It's worse than Spirit Airlines.
How can it be,
bro? Just
let me do some comparisons. Spirit Airlines seats, no padding, none at all.
Yeah,
same.
They
don't recline. They don't move.
They don't recline.
Wow. You have to pay for every little extra thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Even worse. At least the Spirit Airlines, their app works.
Oh, their
app barely works.
I've definitely I learned my lesson the hard way a few times with Spirit, and I don't do it anymore.
I don't. Well, the best way to do it is I've just been flying only Delta Airlines for the past almost 2 years, since 2021, and I only fly Delta. Sometimes I'll use Southwest Airlines if I need something else, even though I'm not a big fan of Southwest Airlines. I don't know. I'm just not used to it. I just like because I fly Delta so much, it's like clockwork. I don't even need to turn my brain on. Yeah. I'm just like, I have 2 free check bags. I'm a Sky Miles gold medallion.
I'm silver.
Yeah. Well, I was silver and I just got bumped up to gold.
Nice.
Yeah.
You travel a lot more than me these days, I think.
I have been flying so.
Because I got that Delta American Express thing and everything.
Yeah. The purple one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just get into the Sky Lounge.
Love it.
It's awesome. But it's $550 a year. It's worth it if you fly as much as we do.
My problem is I've gotten spoiled with flights because of touring with Russell Peters.
Yeah. Okay. We got to talk. I want to talk about that. Yeah.
Like it's so like here's a funny thing. So I tour with Russell, but I also did a lot of touring with one of my best friends on the planet, Brent Morin. You know Brent Morin, comedian Brent Morin. Brent and I traveled all over together, but I would be off and on with both of them.
Yeah.
And the running joke was when I was back on tour with Brent and we're walking through the airport, dealing with all the airport crap, the whole time he's just going, I'm so sorry. I know. I'm so sorry. I know what you're used to. I'm so sorry.
Right. Do you know what's so funny? When people ask me like, hey, can I open for you? I'm like, can you afford to open for me?
Right.
Because I'm thugging it out right now. I'm roughing it out right now.
Exactly.
Like the people who open for me, like they know what they're getting into. They're like, look, one is I ask him like, do you like right now? I have David Jackson. I don't know if you've met him. Great guy. He's from the Midwest, and I'm doing a Midwest tour: St. Louis, Minneapolis, Chicago, Indianapolis, Nashville. Come check him out. But he was like, I always want to open it for you. And literally, I'll go, hey, you're from the Midwest, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you have a car? Can you get a car? He goes, yeah. I was like, perfect. Yeah. I was like, do you have a place to stay, or do you have homies? He's like, yeah. So like he knows, like he has cameras, I have cameras, like he knows, like it's more doing it for the experience. Right. And I was like, and if we don't have a hotel or a place to crash at, I'm literally getting us a motel, maybe a hostel.
Yeah. Motel, hostel with one bed and maybe a couch.
Yeah.
But there'll definitely be a floor.
Yeah, there's so many times like Akeem Woods, like we would literally, it would be like a motel. They would just give us one bed, and it would just be like pillow barrier, you know.
Last time I did that. Last time I had it was a Motel 6, and it was me and Jimmy O Yang.
Oh wow!
Jimmy O Yang and I stayed at a Motel 6 on this gig we did together, and I remember that same gig I drove and my tire blew. So we're on the side of the road changing a tire. We're staying at a Motel 6, and now all these years later, look, he's killing it.
He's doing great. Yeah, he's killing it.
And he was my opener.
Oh really? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I dude, fucking Ralph Barbosa, he opened for me. He wasn't my opener. He just opened for me in like, it was January of 2023.
Nice.
And he was like barely at 5K 7K followers. And by the end of it, he was one of the biggest selling comedians in the world.
It's incredible what can happen overnight. Over
a year. He's always been extremely talented, and like he very well.
See, when it happens to guys like him, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because I watched his stuff. I'm like, oh, this guy's a comic.
Yeah.
Like an actual comic. Like he's got jokes. He's got chops. And there's some people you're like, man.
Yeah, but they don't last long. I know exactly what you mean. Well, like those people who have a YouTube following or
even just a TikTok following.
Yeah, TikTok. Well, they don't last long. They're just like they're now like they just waltz over to stand up. Like to be honest, they don't last long, or they will only be known for their own audience. Like there was some guy who he's only a YouTube guy. Apparently, he released a special, garbage special, but. He was getting laughs and stuff because he's doing a special.
Well, his fans were happy to see him.
His fans were so happy to see him. But it's like if he's anywhere else, he would.
I do want to say though that I do have respect for the ones that happens to, but then they decide, you know what, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to learn the craft. And as they go, they're getting better. You could see them becoming a comic because there are other ones that are just like, I'm just here for the money.
Yeah,
I'm just here for the fame. But then you can see there's certain guys out there that I like a lot that they got famous through their TikTok or whatever it was, but then when they got that opportunity, they're like, okay, I'm gonna.
They take it seriously,
and they are humble enough to ask old school guys, what do I do?
Yeah, those guys are the ones that last longer, and I like that too. They come into stand up with no ego because that is in order. You know, I mean, it is. I do understand like people like. Younger comedians could get jealous. Like I used to get jealous because I had nothing, and now I'm like, I get the business, I get the game.
Younger comedians get jealous, but also think about veterans who technically made it 11 years ago, and then all of a sudden you have to relearn everything, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, it took me so much time and hours to become a paid regular at the Comedy Store.
Right.
This guy got it overnight. Yeah. You know, it's that kind of stuff too. I'm like,
yeah, but how do you? Okay, that's actually a good question. Like, how do you? Because you're one of the old schools, but like, I see you as like a very humble guy. Because I'm younger than you, and you're like, okay, how do I do this social media thing? Yeah. And you're literally like this. My favorite was I give you my phone, and you're like this.
And I did too. And you're like, I got to look through the bifocal lens.
Yeah, you're like this. You're like, okay, so I gotta. Is hashtags important? I don't like that. But it's good. Like you have a great tape. You're clipping it up, and you're already like going viral. Like
here's why I was humble enough to do that, because I know things are constantly changing.
Right.
And you could either fight against it and disappear, or you could do what's like. For example, I always tell people this. You know, like a lot of old school comic friends of mine are like, I hate that. I don't want to do that TikTok crap. I don't want to do. And I says, look, there was a time when people thought that television was a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
And people that were radio stars were like, F that TV stuff. We don't need it. And they disappeared. Same with when we went from silent films to talkies. If you didn't make that transition and make it smoothly and make it humbly and say, okay, what do I need to learn now? Bye. You disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm still booking shows. I'm getting booked. I have 2 specials that I shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of it's because I'm like, okay, this is how the industry works now. I need to evolve with it. And I did it. Mm-hmm. And I went to guys like you, young kids with the alpaca hair. And said, hey, how do I do this?
It's getting crazy right now. Right now, my hair is going through the awkward phase because I want to grow it out really long. But yeah, I do got alpaca hair. That's
have you
so
seen
funny.
that on those memes with the young, that Gen Z hairdo that a bunch of them have, where it's long, kind of.
Yeah,
it's like, long, but only here.
Yeah, it looks like a mushroom. Short.
Yeah, so it's a mushroom cloud or alpaca.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow it out even longer.
Dude. It's getting thick.
Thank you. It's all thanks to Turkey.
Yeah,
got a hair transplant a year ago.
My buddy did that.
Looks good. Yeah, Brent did it.
Yeah, he did it here in.
Well, he has the money to do it here. Okay, never mind.
He begged to differ. He had it.
But, that's funny. Yeah. But for the most part, no, you are right. I actually quoted you on this podcast because we always talk about pieces of advice. And I remember I like texted you. It was like a moment of insecurity. I was like, should I like try to get an agent or a manager? And then you just called me and you go, you don't need it.
You especially.
Suck. Yeah, they're like, they suck. You don't need it. Like you're like, just keep doing what you're doing with social media. You don't need it.
Yep.
And then you were right because a month later, I do this festival, right? It's a great festival, blah, blah, blah. But I go to this panel, and it's a guy from two people from CAA, one from some management company, and one from another agency. And they were all just talking, like, to be honest, just BS the whole time. The only thing that was useful, it was because the first question from the panel was, how do we get in front of you, you know? And he goes, he's the guy who represents, he's one of the CAA, like Matt Rife and Preacher Lawson is on his roster. And he goes, oh, well, at the end of the day,
him, by the way.
Yeah, he was like, at the end of the day, it's all about butts and seats. Yeah. Pretty much. And he was like, it's all about ticket sales. And then he goes off about talent and blah, blah, blah. And they were all like going around about talent and originality and being funny. But in my head, I'm like, no, it's all about how big is your following? Do you have a great audience that you could pitch?
And if I already have that following and I already know how to build that following, what the hell do I need you for?
Right.
Are you here just to ask me if you could share my money with me?
That's pretty much it. And more like, there's some people like Morgan J. He was like, bro, WMECA, like they didn't care about him until he blew up. And he was like the only
they didn't need him.
They didn't,
Until he didn't.
Yeah, until he didn't need them. But now it's like he signed with them because they could get him just a level bit higher for like movies and TV
Once you
shows,
get to
which
the point
I get.
where you need, because we didn't go to school. I mean, I didn't go to school to learn how to read a contract or negotiate that or anything like that. So that's the thing that they're licensed to do.
Right.
That's why not just anybody can be an agent. You have to be licensed and be tested and all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to pretend they're agents and act like they're agents.
Oh, that happens all the time to the people. If you're any listeners out there, if you're new to LA, if someone comes up to you and say that they're an agent or a manager, they're probably lying to you and they're trying to take advantage of you.
Get that business card and Google the hell out of that.
Yeah, and figure it out. Yep. Yeah, do your homework about these people.
But then you could educate yourself on that eventually too. I mean, it's like the hardest part of this gig when I started was, first of all, there was steps. There was all the different steps. First, you had to start, which was get on a mic and start talking on a microphone. Then you had to be funny. You literally had
and
to
that just takes many years.
funny. You had to be really good.
Yeah.
Then once you were really good, then you had to get right in front of the right people. When I started, you needed that manager, you needed that agent, you needed that booker because when I started, the big deal was get a late night spot. Get on the Tonight Show, get on Conan, get on Letterman. That was like career launcher back then. And you just needed those people to find. And my manager worked great for me back then. He got me in front of the Jay Leno Tonight Show people. Boom, I booked it. He got me in front of the BET people. I got Comic View. He got me so Just for Laughs, New Faces were so confused about me because I was new, but I didn't seem new. I was very seasoned. I was hanging out with very seasoned comics, and I wasn't a young guy. I was 30. I was 40.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, what do we do? My manager at the time said, well, guess what, dude? They're going to actually pay you, fly you out, and put you up to do multiple shows at JFL so you could be seen. It's not necessarily new. Because when you got New Faces, that was it.
Right. And now New Faces means nothing.
Well, JFL is gone.
JFL is gone. That's crazy.
Yep,
dude,
people ask me.
If y'all know the comedy industry, that's a big deal. That was the last
I went
thing
the very
that
last
everyone
year.
wanted.
I went the very last year. It was still good. I got it in 2013. And that was the last year before the internet kind of took over everything. Because now with all these social media apps and internet, here's what Just for Laughs was, for those of you who are not totally familiar with what I'm saying. It was a giant comedy festival. It wasn't one of these festivals where you signed up and paid to go. Yeah. You had to be invited. You had to audition, and then they had to go, okay, you're invited. Mm-hmm. And when you got it in the beginning, you got this thing called New Faces. And there was this whole compound out there in Montreal where all the big comics and everybody stayed at this hotel. And there was this other hotel off to the side that was whatever. That's where they put the New Faces. That's why I was kind of glad I didn't get that either, because I got to go hang with the big boys. Like, I'm this guy. Mm-hmm. But back then, people were going out there, and the industry was going out there to see the new acts. And they were watching acts to see can this act be a comedy? Can this act be a movie? Can this act be a sitcom?
Right.
But they weren't able to see you before that. Now they just have to Google your name, and they can watch all kinds of clips of you. So there's really no reason for them to fly out to Montreal, get up in a hotel, go to these shows, because they could just find you.
And they lost that's why most of them.
It's gone.
Why they lost all
gone.
the money, and it's
it's gone. And people are still doing these comedy festivals, and now I'm like, I get what they're for now. They're just to entertain audiences. Because it ain't industry stuff.
No, definitely
You're not going to get discovered. I mean, there was a time when you could go, if you had a good JFL, if you had a good festival, you could come home with multiple offers from multiple networks to do a show. Come home with like deals to make.
Development deals, especially in the early 2000s, in the 90s too.
I couldn't believe it when I left and I got home the next day. I had meetings with ABC, CBS, NBC, TBS. I mean, everybody wanted to meet me because I was younger then, obviously, and I was talking about having older kids. Because my kids are disproportionately older than they should be for a guy my age. Like,
you had kids pretty early.
Yeah, teenagers. We were teenagers when we had kids. Yeah. My son's about to be 35. Yeah. I have a man boy, 2 actually. But now they just go on TikTok and they look at what's trending, and they don't even have to leave their freaking office. Mm-hmm. You know, it used to be a thing where like, I need to, if an agent from the East Coast saw me, they'd have to connect me with their West Coast guy because he was a guy that I can go to his office and talk to.
Right.
That isn't even a freaking thing anymore. I have a manager. I think in the last 2 years, I've physically seen him twice. We are all via email. Everything's email, everything's phone. Yeah. And, you know, pretty good manager, pretty good company and stuff, but like, do I need him right now?
Right.
Because managers are there to manage your day-to-day. Agents are there to make you your money. But I always tell people now, my agent is TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah. Well, to be honest, my manager is older comedians who I could just reach out to. Yeah. Do you know who Steve Hofstetter is by chance?
Steve Hofstetter, you ready?
Yeah.
Little trivia. Yeah. Was my first manager.
Really?
Yep. He had a company called he was with New Wave, but he had another one. God, I can't remember the name of his company, but I was with, and it was weird because I got with him and didn't know that I was with him because he kept it on the down low that he was a manager because he was also a comic.
Yeah.
And I signed with this girl who was working for him, and I never knew. Next thing you know, I'm getting phone calls. Hey, by the way, this is Stevie. I got you this thing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing his podcast and stuff. Nice guy.
Very nice guy. He's like my unexclusive manager, where
That's
basically
what you want them all to be, by the way.
Yeah. So basically, it's like I just spoke with him on the phone yesterday, where it's like, hey, I need your help about this, and that, or I need your advice, and he would give me good advice, and then like if I need help getting in a room, like with the Midwest tour, like some rooms I already have a good relationship with, so I got that on my own. But the others, he's like, here, just give me, I think it was 5-10%, whatever after. He taught me.
For a manager, it's 10.
Yeah, it's 10%. That's right. And then he basically would just give me like really good advice. He taught me how to tour right, all that stuff. And it's like, it's moments like that while you have a manager.
What's great about a guy like him giving you that advice is he's been there.
That's why I like him a lot. He's been through the trenches, which compared to another friend, her manager was just like, this was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. But basically, she's talking on the phone with the manager, and the manager literally just said this, I don't know, just start posting clips like Matt Rife. That's all. Like, that's all the managers and agents were just saying. Like, just like,
I can show
just post clips what Matt Rife is doing. Like,
I can show you so many emails.
Like you just put Google search Matt Rife, and then they all
people just like the responses. And you know what you should do? That's the one that kills me, dude. I get this one. Cannot. You know what you should do? You should get on Rogan. I'm like, that easy, huh?
Yeah.
You should do Theo's podcast. You should do Bobby Lee's.
You know what you should do. Yeah. Or they don't know.
Like I didn't know that.
Even managers are. I mean, if a manager says that angers me. One time I was at an airport, it was just some like mom. Like I was in Austin waiting for my flight. It was just some older mom. She was like, "Have you heard of Matt Rife? You should just be posting up her clips, and then just hop on the phone and just get on Jimmy Fallon." And I was just like,
how annoying is that when people do that? My fucking barber, who's my boy, texts me, say, "Yo, you need to do what Matt Rife's doing." Hey, no shit. Yeah.
We all are trying to do what Matt Rife is doing. Matt Rife is trying to do what Matt Rife is doing.
But yeah, my manager is a very high up there manager, well-known guy. He was at 3 Arts for years. He's at Brillstein now. He's even like, you know what you need to do is get on your friends' podcasts. Yo, they're like clubs. They're like late night TV.
The podcast.
They have bookers. You got to
have
book
people, teams. Yeah,
it's crazy, especially the big ones. Like so many of my close friends have huge podcasts.
Oh, Theo Von.
You are, of course, are one of them.
Oh, thank you. I mean, this is huge. I mean, this is one of the big. No, we're a small but loyal team, right? Breadheads and breadcrumbs. But they, I was thinking, like, I just saw Theo Von's podcast. He just had Bassem Youssef on, and now, he fucking had RFK.
Yeah,
like presidential campaigns are going on these podcasts.
My buddy Rick Glassman's kind of.
He's great. I love him.
Some big people on there now.
I'm actually trying to. He's done my show a couple times, the Hollywood Improv show I have, and I want to get him on this podcast, and I already know like he's gonna be asking all these notes and stuff because he's very hands on. Yeah,
get ready.
I know.
Love your Rick, but dude.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean I've worked with him a good amount of times, like before his like skyrocket, where like everything, like when I used to run park shows outside, you know, and he would do my show, and he was wearing a mask, and he was super like a COVID scared about it.
Oh, yeah.
But he was absolutely hilarious. I actually have
he's freaking hilarious.
I have a question because I was told by people, because when I first saw him, he was already a killer.
Yeah.
But people were telling me in the beginning at the Comedy Store days, like he was bombing and no one knew what was going on. Like, no one knew what he was about, you know?
The comics knew. We saw. We're like, okay. It was just so unorganized and so all over the place that it just confused audiences. Just confused them. And then he would do things where it was like, it was almost on that Andy Kaufman level where he was trying to be that, but you're like, if no one knows who you are, you're just being a jerk. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like we did a show one time. It was me and Brent and Rick. And I think Mike Lenoci was on the show years ago at the Brea Improv. Uh-huh. And Rick basically had his Kramer moment without the N-word. He started screaming and yelling at the audience, do you know how fucking hard this is? Do you understand how hard this is? But he was doing it on purpose, and we knew what he was doing. He wants to, because it's kind of a thing to dig yourself into a hole and then get yourself out. And I think that's what he was going for, but it didn't work. Yeah. And like, Brent Morin had to go around to the staff and apologize, and they called and they're like, what's going on? But at the end of the day, that's proof that it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters to those clubs is butts in the seats, because all these years later, they, of course, are going to book him. Yeah, they book him all the time. Yeah, you can't cancel money. That's a good line. Yeah, you can't cancel ticket sales. You can't do that. You can't. Yeah, no one can get canceled anymore. So, the only time you get canceled is if you represent a certain thing or represent a certain brand to your audience, and then you diverge from that, like diverge. Was that the word? Whatever, but diverge from that. Yeah, I totally missed 2 letters, but diverge from that. So, like for example, the guy from what's in the Try Guys from BuzzFeed, he was always the wife guy. I'm the wife guy, and then he got caught cheating on his wife. It's like, yeah, you're canceled. Now you're full of shit. Well, you're full of shit, but also your own audience that you built from being the wife guy is gone now. Yeah. A perfect example of that is my buddy Chris D'Elia. Yeah. See, Chris D'Elia, they tried canceling him because of sexual things. Yeah. But it was always a known thing that he was a sexy guy. Yeah. And it was always a known thing that women love him still. Right. By the way, still. No, he's still selling out everywhere. He's doing better now than he was before he was canceled. Really? Yeah, he just recently did an arena. Like, he's killing the game, dude. Just did a whole tour in Australia. Like, so in other words, his fans know what he's about. And also, a lot of the stuff got proven to be wrong. I was a big part of that because I was mentioned in the lawsuit, which put me in a place that I wasn't physically at, which made it, obviously it was a lie. Like a lot of the claims that were happening were on the East Coast leg of this tour that him and I did together.
Yeah.
Jason Collings was there. My name was in the thing, and I wasn't there. I was literally headlining Brad Garrett's in Vegas.
Oh, so you had to
I wasn't
prove.
even on that leg of the tour.
Really? So you
Yeah.
had to prove like, hey,
Didn't have to prove anything. We had all the, Chris is a smart motherfucker. He kept all the receipts, all the texts. And that's why nobody made any money. That's why never went to trial. He never got arrested. He never got charged with anything. But his fan base ain't going nowhere because we love him because he's a sexy dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very
like,
funny.
If it came out that he physically harmed someone and that was like that was canceled all day, done. But like what you're saying, if you take that left,
Yeah.
that everybody's away from what everybody's used to.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was if a girl claims something like that against a guy who's known to be a ladies' man, his fans are gonna go, and You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, Matt Rife cheated on his baby mama, for example.
Yeah,
Everyone be
they're
like,
trying to.
yeah.
This is another thing. They're trying to say Matt Rife got work done, and look how beautiful he is. We're all shocked. Shut up.
One of my favorite jokes was from Paul. Paul goes, his cheeks are made out of elbow.
He got elbow cheek. I love that kid. He's a good kid, though.
Very funny. Yeah, he's been on this podcast too.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? And it kind of makes me realize what something like I get like, for example, I don't talk about my dating life at all,
Okay.
right? And it made me realize, like,
Sad. We know it's because you don't have one, but go ahead.
no, I have a girlfriend, but I don't talk.
Sure. She live in Niagara Falls.
She is not in this country, so it does not help my case.
Oh, that's so funny.
I think I'm the only comment I'm like, guys, I sleep with lots of women. I promise. Like, oh yeah, sure.
Okay, buddy.
They're like, no, I have a girlfriend now too. Oh,
You're
okay.
wearing an I Love ABBA t-shirt.
Yeah, this isn't helping my case at all.
How long you been in a relationship?
This one's a bit more newer, not that long, but I was in another relationship that didn't work, and then I did talk about it in this podcast, but let's just say I didn't make the right moves while I was touring, and then
Your fault.
it was
100%.
my fault.
I respect that. You're like, yeah, my fault.
Yeah, no, it was 100% my fault with the last relationship. And now I'm like, but I learned from it, blah, blah, blah. And like, if you're a listener on this podcast, you know more about me than most. But like on my social media, and I like the fact on social media where it's like, I just post stand up.
Yeah. I try
Maybe
to do the
things.
same
I'm not even that personal on there, which is good because social media, it's a lot of eyeballs, you know what I mean? And it's like people are, especially with the short form content, they believe like some people believe I'm like because I'm Muslim or I'm Arab, they expect that I'm as religious as they are, or I'm as Arab as they are. You know what I mean? Like there is no like individuality, but now there is slowly getting better. But
I keep it pretty separate, but I do like, for example, this past week I had my anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big one, 22 years married. So I posted a little video about my wife there, but it's not. But my wife's a very private person.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be in the spotlight.
My girlfriend has no social media.
So lucky.
Isn't that fucking great, dude?
Oh, so lucky. Sometimes I wish that I wasn't an artist so that I could have just a great paying job that doesn't require me to be a public person or on social media or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because being on it isn't the hard part for me. And I think you're going to agree. Mm-hmm. Looking at other people's is hard for me.
Yeah.
I get that crazy FOMO thing. And why are they doing that and I'm not?
How are they doing this? Yeah.
And then I keep reminding myself, everyone puts their best foot forward on social media. Because I've had people come up to me at the Comedy Store like, dude, you're everywhere, bro. You're killing it. And I'm like, I am? And it doesn't help that I'm pulling up in a $200,000 car. That's not my car.
Yeah.
They're like, Jason made it. I'm like, no. This is all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And in a weird way, it's like I hate it because you somewhat have to keep this facade.
Yeah.
Because people want to know you're killing it.
Yeah. And also from the fans' perspective, they put us up on a stage. They put us on a pedestal. We are we are there for them to go, wow, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That's why I have an issue with merch. Not selling it, but me personally selling it. Like I'm the guy on stage and now I'm going, hey guys, buy my t-shirt.
I kind of like that though.
Now I've been taken down a bit of a peg because now I'm not just the guy that was performing for you, killing it. Now I'm over here working at a retail store. So what I do is I have somebody do it for me.
Really? I'm maybe it's because I'm younger.
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm younger and they still see me. I don't want to say struggling, but they see me like, oh, here he is. I could buy merch, and it gets more people to buy merch because they want to take pictures with me after. So then it's like, let me buy merch, and it's like they like this. Here's my money. Thank you for the t-shirt. Keep going.
Here's like the way I do it.
I'm 31. Maybe when
somebody's selling
older,
it, I'm standing next to it getting pictures.
That works too.
My pictures there. I'm the guy that the stuff is about.
Sometimes I do that.
Yeah.
If the line is too long.
The whole struggle thing is interesting to me too, because before social media, entertainers and what I call muggles,
yeah,
completely separate, and it was something to be in awe of. And imagine back in the day if like Marilyn Monroe and Bogart were on some app going, I had the hardest day today and my feelings are hurt, and now I went to the doctor, and leave the fucking personal shit personal. We're entertainers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can't stand it when I see comics or actors or anybody posting from the emergency room and then not telling us what the hell's going on, number one. Yeah. And it's just the captions then with an IV and all it says is Mondays. You know what I mean? Like what? I don't need to know that. You know, and that's the old school. And apparently the kids today want to know they want to know when Kim's taking a shit. Kardashian, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Well, now because of social media, like you have this connection with the audience, and like what made social media popular in the beginning was the fact that you could or you could have this connection,
right?
Even though it's completely fabricated, but you could have a connection with your
that I get
with your heroes, yeah.
With somebody that you wouldn't in any other.
But now it's sad because now you have like
Let me tell you what I mean though.
Well, okay.
I shouldn't know what the inside of these strangers' houses look like, and for some reason, because of social media, I know what so many people's inside of their home looks like.
Yeah.
That's bizarre to me.
Right.
To me and my generation. I'm not saying it's wrong or we should change it or fix it,
but
that's the shit that like,
it is definitely a generational thing, yeah.
My generation, we had to get used to and like figure out. You know, like
I'm learning a lot about their personal life.
And now I'm like, oh, they want more than just the stand-up.
Yeah.
They want to know what are you doing today? Like when social media, I started figuring it out. People that like you that I talked to, they said, don't post, because I used to think I'm going to post a flyer. Flyers don't.
Yeah, no, don't ever post
anything.
A flyer. You have to.
And
like,
now I'm telling people,
video.
What do you got that flyer on there for? First of all, it's a tiny picture of you and 900 other comedians. I always tell people, remember on your stuff, you're the brand. You're the brand. You're the brand. So what I do now is somebody will send me a flyer of a show that I'm on. Mm-hmm. I don't post it. What I do is I go in and I make a personal video with just me. Say, hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be at this show at this time. Come check it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, all these other, that's the brand thing. So one of the things that I had to learn was talking to the camera. And I've always had an aversion to that because I have a lazy eye. And whenever I look into the lens of a camera, sometimes my eye will, because I'm focusing on this little thing. So one of my eyes will turn in or turn out, and it was always and I got teased about it growing up, bullied about it, so it's a thing. And every once in a while, now that I pointed it out, you'll see, his eye just wandered a little bit. Mm-hmm. It will wander a little bit.
I say a little bit, yeah.
So now what I do is, I got to figure out how to do this. So I don't look at the lens. Whenever I do a video or anything like that, I look directly over the camera. Literally, I find the lens and I just look up over the camera.
Yeah, that's smart.
But it looks like I'm looking at the camera. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure that out because they were telling me, like, you guys and the younger people were like, your fans want to hear from you.
Yeah.
They don't want to see a poster of you, or they want to hear you talking to them.
Well, also when you obviously, I said earlier I just post stand up. I'll post some sketches as well too, but they want like Like when I was in Europe, I'm posting pictures of like Stockholm was great. I just went to the Abbott Museum.
Right.
Blah, blah. Or you could know a lot more about me through my stories because I'll post more like just I like stories because you could just.
Yeah.
It's just many bits.
Yeah. It's funny where my brain is at with all that now since when you first started helping me.
Yeah.
I can't stand my grid to look muddled up. It has to look very uniform.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's the thing.
So
one of the
do
things
like a picture, video picture or something like that. Thank you.
And then the consistency. There's a consistency there now. So the algorithm picks it up.
Right.
And that started working on my social media. So I was like, whoa. Started working on my YouTube channel.
Hell yeah.
Okay,
dude.
so there's something to this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people my age are just going to find that kid doesn't know what he's talking about. What's important is the art form.
The art form is
that's the only thing,
but you can't just
for people. No. It doesn't. None of that crap matters. What matters is that when they come see me, I'm great. Well, then how are they going to come see you?
Yeah.
Because guess what? The Tonight Show ain't going to get it. Not today.
Right.
Rogan's going to get it. I mean, that's like the new thing. Or your followers and you clicking up over 1 million views or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the new thing, and I'm still learning. And I talk about it a lot because I have to remind myself.
This is still stand-up has always been the most like meritocracy format. I mean, same as the music industry and acting, but like even actors now. Actors, it was all about like look and talent and all that stuff. But even now, they're like, you need a social media following.
Yep. People are gonna go, oh, that guy that I follow is in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch that thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
The only people that seem safe to me are musicians. Because once you get a guitar in your hand, you better be able to fucking play it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, stand-up comedy is one of those things that there's zero requirement to do it.
No.
There's no studying. There's no training. Right. You could literally show up at your local coffee open mic thing and get on stage and start.
Yeah, we have no comedy. HR department.
Nothing.
And, okay, one more question before we get to the let's get deep portion. Ooh. Do you think stand-up... The industry will ever unionize? There's always been talks about unionize as in like right now the club features, openers and hosts still get paid the same rates as they were getting paid in the 50s, early 2000s maybe. Like I don't know if they ever bumped, maybe in the 90s or whatever. We still get the same rate.
Yeah, well the rates slowly go up. But I know that the road rate has stayed the same. 50, 100.
Yeah. Guest spot, no money.
No money.
Yeah.
Guest spot. You got to throw that guest spot in there because now once I say guest spot, you ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
And here's why I don't think it's ever going to change. Because one thing you could say about us as comics, we are constantly desperate and fiending for stage time.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I will do a 400 people show at the Improv and then the very next night do like a bar show that has 10 people in the audience because I love doing stand-up.
In Istanbul, I headlined my own show, my audience, did my hour. Fantastic.
Right.
Spoke English, all that other stuff. The next night, I went to an area in Istanbul called Kadıköy. It had it's an open mic. And it was an English one. So it was one of the very few English. Mainly there's Turkish stand-up. But now there's a very few English, and it's a lot of Turkish people trying to learn English. Dude, I bombed for like 5-6 minutes straight, but it was funny. I was laughing and bombing at the same time.
I was gonna say you definitely
because I was like,
it.
I literally go, man, I've been bombed in a long time, and then like they were just like this, like by the end of it, I kind of like made them laugh with a few other jokes, but it was just like they were trying so hard. Like by the time I was on the third joke, they're still trying to process the first.
Oh
like,
yeah.
How did he say it? Blah blah blah. And I was speaking slowly. But they were
it's a trip, man. And then there's also the culture of comedy.
Yeah.
In other words, a really good friend of mine, his name's Ali Shur. He's a Russian Chinese guy.
Yeah, I've seen him.
And he was raised in Russia, but he discovered comedy out there on YouTube and then started learning it. So, but then he was telling me, but humor culturally is different. So not only did he have to learn English, he had to learn the culture of what's funny here.
Yeah.
And then it started becoming funny to him. But like, see, I just have to show up and talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another thing. At your age, it doesn't blow your mind to know that there's stand-up comedy all over the world.
Yeah.
at first it was like, wait, they do stand up in Istanbul. You know what I mean? Like that,
Now it's like
that blows my mind.
Well, I did like great on some other shows, like in Istanbul, like just other spots.
Yeah.
But that particular, it was in the open mic, which was horrible. But there were some other like English stand-up shows, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
And then I had my own hour in front of my own audience and stuff, and
First
it went
time
great.
I ever did a big international thing is when I started going, whoa, this is crazy. Because, you know, Russell and I were in, let's say we were in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the show, Russell's very known for having an open green room. He likes the more the merrier party. We have cigars and stuff.
Dude, yeah, when you invited me over, I was just eating KFC with him. That was legit one of the best. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Best birthday ever.
That was the Long Beach one, right?
Huh? The Long Beach one. I just landed. I turned 30 the next day, and it was me and Russell Peters in a green room eating fried chicken.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So we're out there, show's over, we're hanging, and then all of a sudden there's like, the local comics are hanging out. And I'm like, there's local comics here.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking these big venues, they're just all coming from everywhere to see. But yeah, same with India. The local guys were hanging out. Yeah. It was a trip.
Right. There is, well, also like, it's gone a lot better because now, I mean, America has always had, like, I know we get shit on now. We get shit on a lot because of social media. We air out our dirty laundry.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone makes fun of America. But we're always the forefront or the trendsetter. Well,
right.
Honestly, black people. But for being
say
real,
say it. Yeah.
It's black people. But America in general are like the trendsetter of culture.
Yeah.
Right. And then now, like, that's why, like, when Sammy and I we did Europe together, there were just so many people who like understood English comedy.
That's what I learned.
Understood
too.
English in general, and they just got our humor. They were ready to.
People
they
here.
really enjoyed and they love and it's because of movies and TVs. Like they know our accents. They know an American accent.
And you hear the term the ugly dumb American. It's kind of a thing because, you know, until I left the country to do stand up, you don't realize most other countries speak English.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just English, but like 100 different other languages. Yeah. Like my buddy Ali, I was just talking about. He speaks like 7 or 8 different
and Europe,
fluently.
Everyone in Europe at least speaks 2 languages, 3.
Because I was telling Russell when he asked me to do this tour, I go, are they going to get me? He was like, don't change a thing. Trust me. And of course I trust him. So I'm like, all right. And I'm talking standing O's and shit.
What year? Where is this?
2019 we did Africa, India, Middle East. we did Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban, Peoria, or Pretoria, and then we did Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and then we were in Bahrain, Jordan, Muscat, Dubai.
I tend to forget how fucking big Russell Peters is.
Oh, he figured it out, man. Here's what he figured out.
You say that, and then when we were talking, you would go, Russell, this is my friend Ahmed. He's great with social media stuff. And then he's been teaching me social media stuff. And Russell goes, yeah, can you teach me? I need to learn this social media stuff. Yeah. I was like, what?
Because think about how long he's been doing it. 35 years.
35 years, yeah.
You know, so and 35 years ago, you just had to be fucking good and funny. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course you had to be a good guy.
Right.
Because, you know, because of the people you meet. But like what Russell did was, you know, we were all out there fishing in the bay. Mm-hmm. Fishing in the bay. Russell's like, I'm going to ocean. You guys can stay here and make this.
Oh,
he
money. He became an international. He's smart about that, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow in his footsteps because
you're doing it. You're overseas.
Yeah,
all the time.
well, we did. So Sammy and I did Europe last year. We only did 4. Well, we did 3 together. I did Berlin by myself. We only broke even, and then the one place that was supposed to pay us in London, they never paid us.
Son of a...
Yeah, I know. But we are right now. Shout out to Aisha. She's a lawyer and helping us out getting the money. But there is a point in my but when we were doing Europe, because Sammy blew up with pro-Palestine stuff, which, by the way, he's out of all my friends who are killing it with social media, he's the only one where industry is not very interested because he's very pro-Palestine. But everybody else, it's like Morgan J, or like
one of my best friends, he's a filmmaker, and he's same kind of an issue with that.
Like we're very pro-Palestine. But anyways, we do Europe. We're doing all these people, like we're building this audience, people who are fans of both of us, mostly him, but it was just cool. And now I'm getting like do a Middle Eastern tour. Oh yeah, there is a comedy scene in Beirut right now.
Yeah.
And then I plan on doing so sometime next year I plan on doing I did Dubai. I did Dubai last May, but hopefully they'll ask me to come back. But I did Beirut. I want to do Amman, and then in Cairo for sure. Hopefully do comedy in Yemen. We'll see about that.
You're Yemeni.
I'm Yemeni, but like it is kind of like issue because right now the Houthis, the Houthi rebels, they took over Sana'a, which is the capital.
This is what white people call the Houthis.
Houthis, yeah, the Houthis. And then, but Aden, which is in South Yemen, it's still like they're still not taken over by the Houthis. And the Yemeni comic who's in Germany reached out to me. He was like, "We could do a show in Aden." So we'll see how that. It would be a good.
You ever get nervous as far as like war zones and shit like that?
Well.
See, I was at first when I was in there too.
Everywhere else, no.
Beautiful, yeah.
No, I'm not nervous. Yemen, is the only place where I'd be genuinely nervous because I will go to Sana'a by myself. I will go to Sana'a first. No posts about it on social media. See my family because most of my family there, and then come to Aden and then be public. Hey, I'm at this comedy show because Houthis will kidnap you, and especially because. I don't know. Maybe it's because I got a couple of messages. Some people are saying, dude, you're safe. You're fine. Because here's the thing. My older brother's there. My mom and sister and my niece were just there to visit. Okay. The only problem is I'm not a big name. I'm not known. But I have to address the fact that it's like I do have a following. And there are people that know I exist.
Yeah.
So if the wrong person sees me, maybe gets an idea. That's the only issue. And there may be a chance that might happen.
Right.
Because like people will be like, come to Yemen. And then I go, I good, but I was told that I might be taken. And then he goes, damn, yeah, you might be right. they're like, yeah.
They're like, no, man.
Yeah, no. Some people go, you're fine, you're safe or whatever.
Dude,
but again, I'm not sure.
Dubai, bro.
Dubai is great, but it's not a war zone. I mean,
it's dude, like, looks like you're at, what's that city in Star Wars, Coruscant?
Yeah,
with all the modern buildings. You're literally on a Star Wars planet.
What's crazy? What drives me crazy is you're cultured, but when you leave, like let's say when you went to the Middle East, right? When you went to Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, which is the currency is stronger than the U.S. dollar.
I felt rich. Like I felt like I'm being. It's first of all, it's so beautiful.
And what drives me crazy is when you were in these Gulf countries and all that stuff.
The whole country is Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, right. It's all Rodeo Drive. Yeah. And then I'm sure, were you told by friends in America, your dumbass friends in America, being like, dude, you're in the Middle East? Blah, 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 blah. And you're
kind of, but
and you're
I try
like,
not
what
to
do you
surround myself with dumbasses.
That's true. That's true.
And because of friends that I grew up with, I actually have friends that are Saudi sheiks. Because my buddy did business with them in the automotive industry, and connected us. So when I went out there, I was treated like royalty. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget. We did this one show. Trying to remember which show it was. And Russell's brother comes back into the green room and goes, "Jason, who are these friends of yours?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Let me show you something." I go, "What's up?" He goes, "See all those men all along the back in black?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's the royal family's security." I go, "Oh yeah, he's a member of the royal family." They're like, "What?" Yeah. That's like, great. I got friends in high places.
Like, I got.
It
people.
Actually worked to my advantage one time. Once when I did Dubai with Russell, I got asked to go back to do this other thing with that Hollywood pop-up company. I don't know if you've heard of them. Hollywood pop-up comedy. They do shows out there in Dubai, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go out there." And I kind of had an issue with treatment.
Was it produced by Ali? No,
is some white dude.
Okay, never mind.
And I kind of had an issue with the treatment, and then they were like selling us this thing that looked great on paper, like you're gonna stay in this palace. We did, but it was in the middle of nowhere, so I couldn't leave. I couldn't go. So I called my buddy, and he's like, "Got you." He had his driver come pick me up, took me into the city. Him and I went and had shisha, eating, and being treated like a king. And I got to see the city. Yeah. You know. It was awesome. The
only thing, and then we got to do the let's get deep portion. But like the only thing it's interesting is because in a weird ways, I'm Arab, I'm Yemeni, and you're white. So there is a few things I'm like, they're like, hey.
Oh, there's going to be difference.
There is a difference. Well, because.
Like in India, I was treated completely different than Russell. Russell's like, they think you're famous because you're white.
Yeah.
I was like, got it.
Yeah. Okay. And were people wanting to take pictures with you because you're a white dude?
Pictures of me, not even with me. Yeah. Just of me.
Yeah.
Like, look what I found.
It was, yeah. That's how it is. Like when I was in UAE, like I did a joke making fun of, like not making fun of, but like I highlighted the Saudi coalition with UAE, and then like I don't want to say his name, but like he came up to me. He's the one that organizes the festival. He was like, "I love the joke, but just don't say that part. Don't say Saudi. Don't say coalition."
Stories about certain things you can't say.
Because he was like, if someone of the royal family, they will literally send you to Saudi just so they could talk to you.
Wow.
So
also,
that's the only
I heard there's
difference.
differences between doing shows on public property and private property, things that you can and cannot say. Like when Russell and I did the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai, privately owned, we could say whatever we want. Then I heard of a comic doing a show in Dubai at like an open air mall thing, and he said something about gay, and the promoter like ran up to the stage, started pounding on it, going, no, dude, like, because it wasn't private, it was public property.
Oh, I didn't even know.
That's one of the
about
things
that.
I heard. Yeah,
That's probably why when Andrew Schultz did his taping in Dubai, it was on an arena that is private property, so he's able to do those jokes.
Yeah, I wonder if he probably did it at Coca-Cola Arena.
I think so. I mean, he's huge.
Want to hear something cool about that place? I am the very first person to ever perform at that arena.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. Yeah,
because Russell and I were the first show, and I was the opening act. And Russell comes up to me backstage. He's such a cool dude. He was like, "Yo, this is kind of a big deal." And I thought he was joking at first. He goes, "No. Seriously, you're the first person to ever perform at this arena." I was like, "Whoa, there's not going to be anything written about it."
Yeah. They're like Russell Peters and some white guy.
And some guy, yeah.
Okay, so this is the Let's Get Deep portion. Let's get deep, guys. This is This is Patreon only, so subscribe to the Patreon to listen to the Let's Get Deep portion of the show. But without further ado, this is the question I've been asking all the guests for a bit until I change it up. But this one I like a lot. It is, how has your sense of identity changed throughout your life?
How has my sense of identity changed throughout my life? Mm-hmm. Well, when I was a teenager, I was pretty sure I was black. Grew up on hip hop and all that stuff, and but my sense of identity hasn't really. You know what changed my sense of identity? Becoming a father. Becoming a father, because before that, you're very selfish. You're a very selfish person, and I was for a while. I'm gonna get deep. I screwed up a lot as a dad, because I was a kid when I had kids, and I didn't know what I was doing, So I was selfish. I raised my children. I was very hands on. Like, I love my boys, but then when I started doing stand up, I got really, without even realizing it. And I hope I'm gonna talk to my son about this one day, because I know he's upset. But I was very selfish. It was all about me and my comfort and what I wanted to do. And things been pointed out to me recently, how I was back then, that I feel so much regret for. And one of that is when I started doing stand up, I would be at like my son's baseball game, and I'd walk away because of a phone call and miss something cool, and like, you know what I mean? And it was just, and dude, when you get successful in any kind of entertainment, women are there. Women are there, and most men are morons when it comes to that decision.
I've been there.
And I screwed up a lot. And that's why, and you know what? Now that you say the sense of identity, it's changed again recently. Within the last 4 or 5 years, I love being a husband to my wife. I love that woman more than anything on the planet. And I realized that woman's who gave me these amazing kids. And I have a lot of regret on how I behaved in my 30s. And so my sense of identity has changed recently as to, like, I'm very comfortable with who I am and where I'm at in my life. My age, I never lie about it. I'm very happy and proud to be a happily married person. I don't need to go looking for leg, so that's changed a lot. Because I had, psychologically, I had some issues where, like, I needed the attention of young women. I needed the attention of women. Like, I didn't want it. I felt like I needed it. And it wasn't even to sleep with them. It was just to know that I probably could have.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
I've been I've been in that position. Sometimes I still am, and I'm like trying to fight that. Because
I've been there where I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I know I can. And now I don't even give a shit about that. I just love I love who I am now, I'm happy with it.
That's beautiful, man. I've been
and it took a minute. It took a rough road to get here.
yeah.
Because things that I love and find very important, I know like 33-year-old me be like, boring. You know what I mean?
Gay.
Yeah, gay. Exactly. And now, man, I love when I'm home before my wife gets home from work.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. You know, it used to be, hurry up and get home so I can get out of here.
Yeah.
That's what it used to be all the time. It was home from work. Bye. I'm going to do comedy. And then I'd be out till fucking almost 5 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I didn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no, I'm hanging with these guys. And then I realized, oh, none of these guys are married. None of these guys have kids. What am I doing? And of course, what happened was I realized a lot of that too late. Like my sons love me, but like my youngest my youngest specifically has a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger. And I wasn't abusive towards him. He is angry about, and I realized this through therapy, he's angry about how I treated his mother. That's what he's angry about, and I don't fucking blame him.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, so I get to spend time with him, and we hang out, but I could tell he gets annoyed with me quick.
Right.
He gets annoyed with me for like different reasons now. Like I'm being like an old guy. Like I pulled the car out wrong or something. You know what I mean? But that kind of stuff. But still.
That's just like father, son, like dad.
Yeah. So that's a lot of, my sense of self has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And now where I'm at now as a 53-year-old guy, I don't mind just being this guy for the rest of my life.
I love that, man. Fucking, I'm shaking your hand, bro. That's fucking beautiful. I love that. I've been going to, SLAA meetings. You know,
What's that?
Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a lot of friends on that.
Yeah, yeah. And then I've been going to that, so like, because after I got, when I cheated on my ex-girlfriend, and she found out she read through my journal. That's how she found out. Yeah, it was very traumatic experience.
Hey man, why are you writing that shit down?
I know. Everyone tells me that. So all of like everyone is like, why'd you write it down? And the only joke I think of is she read through my journal. You know, my book of evidence.
Yes, dude. My buddy, Chris D'Elia, he's in
of course. I'm sure he is.
And he talks about it on stage. He talks about being in treatment and living at the rehab and all that stuff. And there's this one guy at the rehab. Everybody talks about what they're there for. And he said, and then we got this, like he was Mormon, I think. And he was in there for masturbating. And Chris just goes, don't tell anybody.
Is this on his latest special?
Yeah, and they keep in contact with each other. And he says, and every time he's like, I found the masturbating thing again. He's like, did you get caught? He goes, no, I tell them. And he's like, don't do it. So funny, man.
That's fun. I'm gonna go. I haven't been listening to his stuff. I haven't listened to anybody in a long time, like consistently. But I'm gonna watch his last special.
You gotta watch it, man. It's super honest. It's really good.
I'm gonna watch it. Is that the one that just came out this year?
Yeah, but the one you really need to watch is mine.
Oh, 100%. Well, yeah. Well, that one's it was on Amazon, but it's now on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it was on. I think it might still be on Amazon. It's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't getting.
You know what's funny? It's on my like watch list stuff
on Amazon.
No, on my YouTube.
Okay,
like
good.
Your special is on my like watch list, and then I'm like, well, because I love you, and I don't want to just like watch it on my phone. I want to like sit and watch on like get high. But I've been in Europe.
High? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I want to get high, sit down, and just watch. Like guys, he's absolutely hilarious. There's a reason why I have him on, and like. I want to watch like on the TV. Like this is fucking great. Yeah.
I got tired of watching it because of going through the editing process and all that.
Dude, I can't even look at my special.
Can't do it.
I can't even look at my YouTube.
Then I set it down for a while. I didn't touch it, and then I kind of was like, I gotta watch this thing because I have to watch it to find where the good clips are and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, not bad. There's a couple issues with the sound in the beginning that I don't understand, but visually it's incredible.
Yeah.
It was we shot it in Nashville. At the Hutton, at the Analog Theater in Hutton, at the Hutton. And yeah, it's called It's Not Me, It's You.
I love it.
So I'm never going to take responsibility.
My man, third handshake.
Yes.
We gotta wrap up. How can they find you? Let them know.
Instagram, I'm at Jason Collings. That's JasonCollings. Same on TikTok. Comedian Jason Collings on YouTube. And I believe comedian Jason Collings on Facebook and all that stuff. So basically my name.
Yeah.
If you go to there's this website called Google. And if you type my name in this top bar thing, so many things come up.
Sorry, guys. He's like 53 years old. Ugh. Anyways, also, guys, subscribe to the Patreon as usual to check out the Let's Get Deep portion. I will be a lot more active on Patreon now that I'm back in the U.S. and I can post more stuff.
And I got pretty deep on this one, so.
Yeah, I got deep on it too.
We're crying.
I know. Thank you guys so much and have a happy Monday.